If you're a course creator, you've spent a ton of time and effort creating your course, but one thing we never talk about in this industry is protecting the courses we're creating. Did you know it's not only possible, but actually beneficial to copyright protect your course? Today, we're going to be talking to everyone's favorite IP and entertainment lawyer, Tony, to find out how to do this inside of our business to make sure we're protecting that hard work that we've created. Let's jump in.
My name is Tony Iliakostas. I'm an adjunct professor of entertainment law and IP at New York Law School, and I have an Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok account called The IP Professor that is dedicated to all things intellectual property.
Tony, we know a lot of entrepreneurs jump into their businesses and create courses that they can then sell to their members and students. One big question that I get a lot is whether or not we need to copyright protect our courses, or is that something we can even do? So break this down for us.
Yeah, so the answer is a loud and resounding yes. Any course that you create, whether it's a handbook or let's say a video course where you have certain modules, even if it's a PowerPoint presentation that you have for, let's say, a live class that you're hosting, all of that can be registered as copyrighted works in the US Copyright Office. And so, we've talked about it before. Copyright is an original work of authorship fixed in a tangible medium of expression. And so, if we broke down the three buzzwords there, originality, fixation, works of authorship, that's the most relevant to this discussion here, because works of authorship come in various forms. We know most of them, right? Films, television shows, music, sculptures, pictorial, graphic, and sculptural works, architecture, things of that sort. So, books would kind of be the closest, the most relevant to something like this, where, obviously, if let's say you had a handbook, yeah, it may not be hundreds of pages like a book, but if it's small enough and you were to print it and bind it, yeah, it could operate as a book. Um, with video course, it's obviously an audiovisual work, so that makes sense. And then even if we're talking about a live course and you have a PowerPoint presentation, that PowerPoint has information where you're sharing, and you invested the time and effort to create something original, and you fixed it in a tangible medium of expression. So I'm only mentioning this because I think people feel that hesitation that whatever they create, whatever effort they put into for their course isn't going to be worthy, or isn't even worthy of copyright protection. And I think it's very important to debunk that myth, because what you've invested, what the time and effort, maybe even the money that you've invested in creating your course, is very much worthy of receiving copyright protection. So when you go to the US Copyright Office website, you go and register your work, which, obviously is a very user-friendly website, but if you don't feel comfortable doing it, hiring a lawyer to help you with that registration is paramount. And I think I would highly advise that, especially if you're not so learned or feel intimidated by the interface. But if you go onto the website, you can register your work depending on, again, what the course is, how it's structured, um, and getting that protection within three months of a registration certificate in the mail from the Copyright Office. Right then and there, you have not only solidified copyright ownership, even though copyright ownership begins the moment you create the work, but now you're putting the world on notice that you are the copyright owner. Your name as the claimant is listed there. Your work that you've registered, the name of it is there. The type of work of authorship is listed there. So there is no dispute whatsoever as to who owns that copyrighted work. So I think, again, investing that time and effort it's one thing, but why let it go to waste? Go to the Copyright Office, just get it registered. It's going to save you a lot of headaches down the road.
And just to make this as easy as possible for everybody, in order to obtain that copyright, you are going to the copyright website, you're going to be filling out those forms and waiting for them to get back to you, correct?
Yeah, so it's copyright.gov. That's the U.S. Copyright Office's official website. And basically, you would follow the prompts for registering copyrighted works. Usually, they ask what type of work of authorship you're registering. So if you're talking about, a video course with a series of modules, you could call that an audiovisual work. If you're registering, let's say, a handbook, it would be basically in the realm of, let's say, a book. I forgot the exact title that they use there, but it would all be laid out there. One other thing I'll mention is, if, let's say, you were to do a series of courses or a series of different modules, if you will, you could also register that in the US Copyright Office as a compilation. 17 USC 101 or 102 in the Copyright Act lays out pretty clearly that compilations are afforded copyright protection, because maybe some information within it may not on its own be worthy of copyright protection, but as the collective whole, it can be protected under copyright law. The compilation, because it operates as a whole anthology of information, can be protected in the Copyright Office. So even that is something that you could consider if that's the kind of thing that you're registering. So it's all laid out there. You just have to disclaim any third-party material that you're using if you are in fact using any third-party material, because then what you'll get copyright protection for is only the things that you yourself created organically. So if, let's say, you used a picture of, let's say the Empire State Building that you didn't shoot yourself, but you borrowed from Google Images, in your PDF or your PowerPoint, what have you, you would have to disclaim that you're not the copyright owner of that photo, but everything else that you created, that's all you. So you'll only get copyright protection for the stuff that you got. So once you filed that form, it usually takes on average 3 months to get the registration certificate from the Copyright Office. It doesn't happen often, but depending on the complexity of the registration, if there is a voluminous amount of third-party material or what the Copyright Office would deem questionable third-party material, they would just come to you to verify, hey, did you take these photos? Did you use these copyrighted works authentically? Did you get permission? Or they'll ask questions, follow-up questions. You just disclose any and all information, and then if everything is all good, it's a smooth sailing. You're on your way to getting the registration certificate. You'll get it in the mail, and it'll last basically for the entirety of your life, and then 70 years after you pass away.
And of course, we know that copyright protection offers us a lot of different protections for our course. In an upcoming episode, you and I are going to discuss what steps to take should somebody decide to steal part of our course and try to use it for themselves. So make sure you hit that subscribe and notification bell so you do not miss out on this episode. And in the meantime, if you have further questions on this, drop those down below. Or as always, you can reach out to Tony on his social medias. Tony, where can everybody find you?
You can find me on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok at the IP Professor.
In the next episode, we're going to be breaking down steps to take if somebody is stealing from your course, so hit that subscribe and notification bell so that you don't miss out on any of the episodes, helping you level up in the social media game so that you can make more money online but spend less time doing it. And if you've got questions on this or any topic related to your online business, go ahead and drop those down below, and we'll see you in the next episode.